Many, many organizations today are getting serious about their business processes in a way we couldn't have imagined as recently as 5 to 10 years ago. Every senior manager has process on his or her agenda, and they want their companies to be really good at processes. But what does it mean to have a process-centered company? Some people mistakenly think that what it means is organizing around process. I'm a believer that organizational structure is one of the least important issues we face. Or to put it another way, it follows rather than shapes what we need to do. In order to focus on processes, we need to do the following things. First of all, we have to know what they are. If you don't know what your processes are, then you can't even talk about them, which means you have to create something called an enterprise process model. Now, that's a lot of words for a very simple one-page diagram, which identifies the processes that you have and shows their interconnections. Now, here's a really important point. Those processes are there. You're probably not just aware of them. Order fulfillment is there, though you've never used that term. What you talk about is logistics and warehouse and distribution and customer service and sales, when in fact, what you really should be thinking about is the cross-functional end-to-end process of order fulfillment. New product development, post-sales support. There are a half dozen of these, which are similar but not identical from company to company. Secondly, what you have to do is put a senior executive in charge of each one of those processes, and we call those people process owners. Now, the process owner is a very important and subtle role. The process owner does not have line responsibility for the people performing the process. Not necessarily. The process owner has authority over the design of the process, which will be followed by organizations across the enterprise. So if I'm the process owner, I figure out how this process is to be done, and I give it to all the different departments, and it's their job to make sure that they follow it. You also have to establish process metrics. You have lots of metrics in your organization. Most of them are useless, and none of them have anything to do with your end-to-end processes. If you've identified order to cash, order fulfillment as an end-to-end process, then you have to have metrics like how long does it take us to do it? What percentage of our orders are delivered perfectly, on time, right materials, right place, invoice correct, and so on. These are metrics most organizations don't have. So you need to identify your processes, have process owners, have process metrics, and you need your people to understand your processes. Someone who's only understands his or her job isn't a process worker. That is a task worker. And the trouble is, if I'm really trying to contribute to an end-to-end process, I have to know that whole process, and I have to know who else is involved in it, so that inadvertently, by doing my job, I don't create problems for somebody else down the line. You also have to have tools and infrastructure to support people working in process. Too many of our systems are functionally focused. We need computer systems, integrated systems that support the process end to end, and we need recognition, reward systems, training systems that develop people who can perform in a context of an end-to-end process rather than a narrow stovepipe silo. That's what it means to be a process-centered company, knowing your processes, measuring them, having someone responsible for them, making sure people understand them, and then support them with appropriate tools and infrastructure. The organizational design, that can come later.